You're watching the Waste Channel. This is a very special
Edition.
Edition.
All right. You're watching the Wise Channel. Here we go. Today,
Yeah.
Adriana is helping me here. And we are going to first talk about inverses. Okay?
Inverses.
Thank you.
You
All
should
right.
see that.
So, a function works like this. You have an input and an output. Okay? So, the function of x, or f of x, means, say for example, if you input A, perhaps it comes out 1. Or if you input B, it comes out 2. Or C comes out 3, D comes out 4, E comes out 5. That's an example input-output. Okay?
Now, here's this one.
Which is the
Inverse.
Thank you. So the inverse would just be backwards. Inverse of f of x, or f of negative 1 of x, which we call the inverse of x. Now the input is 1 and the output is A. Input 2, output B. Input 3, output C. Input 4, output D. Input 5, output E.
Yeah.
Easy, right? It's just backwards.
It's very easy. It's just backwards.
Next. So next, we're going to find the equation of the inverse. Okay, finding the equation of the inverse. We're going to start the first example. F of x equals x plus 2. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same as saying y equals x plus 2. Okay, so what you do is you flip-flop the y and the x. Okay, so instead of y equals x plus 2, x equals y plus 2. What are we going to do to both sides? We're going to subtract 2. Very good. And so what have I got? I've got x minus 2 equals y. All right? Which is the same as saying the inverse of x equals x minus 2. Next example.
Fx equals 5x.
F of x equals 5x. Now that's the same as saying
Y equals 5x.
Very good. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip-flop the x and the y. And
X equals 5y.
What are we going to do to both sides?
We're going to divide 5.
Very good. We divide by 5 and we get y equals x over 5. Okay? So, which is the same as saying the inverse of x equals x over 5. Okay? Example number 3, f of x
equals 10x minus 3.
Which is the same as saying
y equals 10x minus 3.
We're going to flip-flop the x and the y. So,
x equals 10y minus 3.
So what am I going to do to both sides?
You're going to add 3.
Very good. I'm going to add 3, and I will have x plus 3 equals 10y. What am I going to do to both sides?
Divide 10.
I'm going to divide 10, and I've got
x plus 3 equals y.
X plus 3 over 10 equals y, which is the same as saying the inverse of x equals x plus 3 over 10.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Next one. Okay.
Now here's this one.
A great assistant I have.
Yes.
Here's the next example.
You love your assistant.
F of x equals 5x plus 1 divided by 9, which is the same as saying y equals 5x plus 1 divided by 9. We're going to flip-flop the x and the y. Okay? So, what are we going to do now? Don't you just hate that fraction thing? Here's what I'm going to do.
No.
I'm going to multiply both sides by 9. Okay? What does that do? That cancels out this 9. Could you move for a second? This 9 with this 9 cancels. Okay? So now I have 9x equals 5y minus 1. What am I going to do to both sides? I'm going to minus 1 from both sides. And I get 9x.
9x minus 1 over 5
equals 5y. What am I going to do to both sides?
Divide 5.
Divide 5.
And
so
then 9x minus 1
divided by
5 equals y.
Which is the same as saying
inverse x equals 9x minus 1 and divided by 5.
Excellent. Thank you very much,
You're
my
welcome.
lovely assistant.
Yes, you love her.
I do love her. Okay, so this is something that may look confusing, but it's very easy. What's the inverse of, say, 5, 3? It's just going to be 3, 5. Don't let that confuse you.
Yeah, because that looks very easy.
Next one.
3, 4.
All right. Now I'm going to talk to you about the next section. This is called parent functions. Parent function. What is the function of a parent? My function is to feed this
Me.
one. Right. So I feed her. All right. I make sure she has clothing. I make sure she knows how to wash. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Parent functions. Okay. So the first one is called linear parent function. This is a bunch of blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
For making a straight line. Don't get caught up with all the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
okay?
it's blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Say that one more time. It's
it's blah, blah, blah.
Right. We don't need all the blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
F of x equals x is the same as saying y equals x. Same thing. Meaning, okay, I lost my assistant for a second there.
Oh, yeah. What do you need?
Meaning, if y equals x, or f of x equals x, if x is negative 3, f of x is negative 3. If x is negative 3, f of x is negative 3. If x is negative 2, f of x is negative 2. If x is negative 1, f of x is negative 1. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And we plot that on a graph, right? Adriana, can you show me where 0, 0 is?
0, 0
Right
is
there.
here.
Can you show me where 1, 1 is? Here's 1, 1 is right here. Where's 2, 2, 3, 3. Where's negative 1, negative 1? Negative 2, negative 2. Negative 3, negative 3. Excuse me.
Here.
Very good. And you draw the line. That is the basic f of x equals x, which is the same as y equals x.
Basically,
Where this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis, but we're calling it f of x.
Yep.
Okay. Next one.
2 more.
The next parent function is called the quadratic. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay. We got it. We're good. Okay.
Yep.
The quadratic parent function. Don't get hung up with the words. Okay. Quadratic always has a squared term, like f of x equals x squared, which is the same as y equals x squared. All right. What does squared mean? Well, for example, what's negative 3 times negative 3? 3 times 3 is 9. And negative 3 times negative 3 is also 9.
But it's negative 9.
No, because a negative times a negative is a positive.
Positive.
Okay. What's negative 2 times negative 2?
4.
What's negative 1 times negative 1?
1.